What is going on, my friends? Lovely day, just six more wake ups until the Europa League final. It seems almost surreal, but it is really starting to consume the media and everybody around Rome and, of course, Sevilla and the league. I think we're just getting really excited. Yesterday was a really cool match. I got to see, well, you got to see hopefully the Coppa Italia final with Inter playing Fiorentina at the Stadio Olimpico. Both sides putting on really impressive tifi or tifo. And in Inter's, it's kind of weird, to see them, their fans out there doing it in front of the Curva Sud, right? And then Fiorentina's, which was really cool, which was paying homage to one of the statues in Piazza della Signoria in Florence, which I thought was awesome. Today, we're going to be breaking down Media Day in Rome at Trigoria with Jose Mourinho speaking to the press in a really a long, yes, of course, long, but also insightful interview where he talks about Dybala. He discusses what it means for his team, how this wasn't maybe the most technical. However, it's one that really arises above in his career and one that really makes him think. Thank you for joining. I know this is a weird time. I didn't advertise it on Twitter or anything. But if you are joining in, throw a comment on there. If you're watching this recorded, of course, leave a comment as well. So, Media Day, here we go. Mourinho speaks. Lorenzo Pellegrini spoke. I think Zalewski spoke to the press, and this is cool. And if you follow Mourinho on Instagram, you will have seen that he also did a barbecue for the guys, which is, it's very cool to see the coach doing that for the boys out there. But that being said, I think we should break it down. I don't think we should waste any time. Let's get straight to it. I know your time is valuable, so I'm going to pull up my Twitter here where I transcribed it today. And he's discussing Zalewski first, and he's asked, is he the architect behind Zalewski's rise? He says, no, they thank me and I thank them. It's emotional because Nicola was in with the Primavera, and then he played in a final, and then he went to the World Cup with Poland, and now he's playing in another final. And to me, that made me really think about Zalewski's form this season, which hasn't been great. But I also have to consider here just how tired is he exactly? Like, is he running on empty? Is that Zalewski at this point in time? It's not the same energy that we saw last year. And maybe it's true, like what Mourinho says. I didn't fully think of it in this context. Like, he does go from a Conference League final. I believe he was starter. If not, he played. And he played very much in the build-up to that. And then with the World Cup, he just came off for Poland. Even if he didn't play much, he was still started the camp. I think that was a mistake not to play him more than Poland did. And now he's in another final. And hopefully next season is even better for him. What is the most complicated aspect to manage and the easiest one approaching the final? He said the most difficult is Saturdays upcoming against Fiorentina. He says I have to leave players out who have nagging problems, and you can't risk it. And he talks about how you can't really just put out a team of kids. It's not going to be a real solution. He said the best solution would actually be not to play the match. You could start preparing for the final. And this made me think also of Inter's situation yesterday, so it's Wednesday yesterday, today's Thursday, and they have the Coppa Italia final. But then on Saturday, they play Atalanta. That doesn't make any sense. That's only 2 full days of rest before you play another game in Serie A. Why couldn't Serie A have rearranged these matches a little bit differently, especially with this one here? Like, you want your teams to do good in the league, no? I mean, I'm sorry, in European play. So at least give these guys the proper rest. Speculation about the future. It's been reported now. I mean, over the past year, will Jose Mourinho leave? Will he go to Newcastle or Paris Saint-Germain with an unlimited transfer budget? And many people that watch this stream also are Mourinho fans first, and I understand that. But he's done very well here to quell a lot of that and to get the media to lay off. They're not gonna, because journalists get paid upon the reactions that they evoke out of the people they're interviewing. But he says, my only focus is the final. And I think we should really focus on that quote here. He says, it'll be very easy to prepare for it. And there isn't even that thing of if we win, we'll make the Champions League. He says, I don't want to know. Like, none of that matters. It's not like, oh, if this happens, then that happens. He says, no, there's no this. It's just focusing on the Champions League. He says, we went to Ludogorets, Betis, and went to Salzburg, who came from the Champions League, with Real Sociedad continuing to have a top season in Spain. We lost many players. We made them play in positions other than their usual. We let Bove play in the semifinal. We came up against Leverkusen. Good teams here. We are there and we want to play. We want Roma fans like us super happy to be there to play in that final. I hope and trust that the fans of Sevilla and Roma can enjoy a nice day in Budapest. When Taylor, the referee, whistles, we want to play, and we'll see. I'm happy about Taylor, the English referee, getting the tip for this one. He's always been I think he's probably the most respected referee in world football at this time, if not definitely top 3 for center refs. And then of course, I saw a soundbite of this on Twitter, and I even left a comment like, oh, of course, tabloid journalism here, because they singled out the one thing where he says, the only club I don't feel a close bond with is Tottenham. And the truth is what he says, I hope my words are not misinterpreted. And then he talks about how it had to do with the stadium and how he didn't really get to bond with the fans because of that. Around the world in Italy, people understand that I give everything. It's not just a question of winning titles or not. In Rome, this is the fans' perception that I work and I fight for them. Some may smile if I say that I am a Madrista, Interista, or Roma fan because you can't support them all. But for me, it is like this because of the type of affection has always been reciprocated and reciprocal. Roma, even if there is a delay of goodbye, it will be very difficult, but there will be a continuous feeling. So it's tough in that he keeps alluding that something could be around the corner for me, because I really don't want to lose Mourinho. I know there were some reports earlier this week, even yesterday, that Roma's new CEO had met with him, and there's talks about a contract extension or a revision to that contract. So I'm hoping that's something that we get to see. Okay, is it essential to have a relationship like this with the referees? Says I'm not going to answer that. How much has changed since the Europa League European final with Porto? Says I've become a better coach with them, a better person, but the same DNA. Motivation, happiness, and the desire to win trophies. These are all values that I try to pass on to my players. I don't want pressure, but simply the pressure of playing this final, remembering the path you have taken to get there. The job of the coach is different from that of the players because the coach improves with the passage of time and experience. Players need their bodies that do not respond in the same way at the age of 30 or 40, and that's for sure. The coach, on the other hand, his brain becomes more and more acute and sharp, acquiring new knowledge. When you lose motivation, you have to stop being a coach, but it's not my case because the motivation grows with time. It's pretty cool to read. How's Dybala doing? In Leverkusen, the game went in a direction where Paulo didn't play, and we thought this could help him improve, but it didn't. We're trying to do everything possible. He won't be there Saturday. Pellegrini won't be there on Saturday either, but he's sure he'll recover by Wednesday. For Paulo, it would have been important to play on Saturday. He can't play. By the way, guys, keep throwing in comments. We're going to get to them after we finish up the presser here. If you win the cup, will the experience at Roma be the most important of your career? He says, we still have to play. I don't like talking first. I like playing. It's a shame you can't play a final every week, but I'm not thinking about myself. I'm thinking about the players and the fans. I would love to help the players take this joy. That would be infinite, as well as the fans. This is my idea. I try to help the players, and they try to take what the fans expect from us. We need to talk little and repeat that we want to play. We will be on Wednesday there. I incorrectly wrote that. We will be there on Wednesday. I should have rearranged that. It's okay. Mourinho to Sky Sports now. 1 year ago, Mourinho raised the Conference League trophy to the sky with the team. What did that final represent? He says it's over. Almost like stop talking about it, he wants to say. Tirana's history, and it's over. A memory for many, and we hope that in many years the children will remember that final with their children. We have to play the next one. Too bad it's not tomorrow, but Wednesday. We'll come quickly. We'll be there, and we want to play. What type of team is Sevilla? He says a team that always wins the Europa League, a team that comes from the Champions League, and they qualified for the CL last year. They're very strong, and we cannot hide it. We have our qualities and our problems that we try to hide, and we're going for it. We'll see after the game. The certainty is that we'll be in Budapest. We won't go on vacation. It's a beautiful city. The stadium is beautiful. I played there, but we're not going on vacation. He's making that clear. It's not just a little tour. It's not the grand tour. How are the injured players doing? He says Lorenzo can recover, but he will be out against Fiorentina. He has a small problem, but it would be risky to play on Saturday. Until Saturday, he will be out as a precaution. On Sunday, he will return to the group. I don't expect anything from Paulo. If he can be on the bench and help us like with Feyenoord, it will be positive. Spinazzola is in doubt. I hope to have him back, not for Saturday, but for the final. He has often played, unlike Dybala, who hasn't played in a long time. If on Tuesday he doesn't give positive signals, then it will be impossible. And the last question here, on the double. He said that at the moment there is no 1-2. There is a Europa League to win. I don't like talking about a double. Sorry, my accent's coming out a little bit as I get frustrated. The work that the guys have been doing since day one and everything we built is something that gives me great pleasure because it's not the strongest squad I've worked with in terms of quality, but on a human level, over the years, you understand that's what remains forever. It's a team that goes to the top of my career. And what a sweet comment here, from him. And I made this today's thumbnail. Here we go. I just thought this was really cool. This is my first try at thumbnails. What do you think about this? It's definitely not as sharp as the ones you'll see from Italian football TV. The kid who designs them, Angelo, is a whiz at the thumbnails. But I'm thinking if I can become half as good as Angelo at IFTV, then I think we can get some good stuff going. I don't know if I need to unlock Canva Pro or Photoshop, but I know that the back here, like the gradient, could be a little bit better. Maybe you switch up the fonts, right? Let me know what you think about if you like these. If you think these infographics are cool, I really like them when they give out statistics too. Like, let's say who has the most key passes in Serie A, right? And highlighting players. I'm into that stuff. I'm going to stop sharing now. Going to run over. Nice. We got over 10 people in right now for an impromptu run. So I'm glad to see it. Joe's stressed out. Dybala better be fit. It is nerve wracking. By the way, I do see over 10 people in here. Throw in some comments. Let me know what you think and leave a like as well. Did they really? What did Joe? What did they have to say? I'm interested. By the way, guys, I will be at Keste Roma Club New York for the final. I took off a half day from work. I'm going to sprint home, come home, and then get the bus probably into Manhattan. And I will say, if anybody is thinking about going to a Roma club or any type of bar or restaurant to watch this, get there at least an hour and a half beforehand, especially if you're coming to New York, because it's going to be absolutely packed. I'm expecting over 200 people there. I think it's going to be chaos, to be honest with you. I know there's a running reservation list for people who are inside the club, and that's already over like 20 something people. So I expect over 200, standing room only. That match will be on in the private room as well as in the bar surrounding the restaurant. What would be sick is if we had like a fan party outside with a projector. That's very good to hear, Joe. I wonder, I'm like, do those guys remember me? I see Peter every now and then. I talk to him on a regular occasion. Him and I grabbed a coffee a couple months ago and in Brooklyn, which was really cool to see him. I spoke to Marco somewhat recently, and I saw Michael was in Milan with Rhea, my buddy Rhea, who I think just won a shirt, and Antonio was out there too, which was pretty cool to see. Apparently, Antonio's first trip to the San Siro, which is awesome. I actually was at the San Siro. Gonna try to find the match here. When was that? I'm one of those former study abroad students who won't shut up about Italy when they come home. If you're younger too and you're like in college and you have any questions about studying abroad, hit me with those too. You could always email me. My email and my contact info are here, or just leave a comment as well. That was Milan Roma. That was 3-2. And let me tell you the goal scorers. That was 2009. I believe Menez scored. Here we go. I'm going to pull this up for you on Transfer Market. This is awesome that you can look at this stuff. I'm going to share my screen. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Yeah, I accept your cookies. So Roma was in sixth at that time. Milan was in second. They were very good. Starting lineup was Zambrotta, Seedorf, Ronaldinho, Shevchenko were on the bench. I can't even believe that, man. Looking back at this, goal of the season. What does this mean? Oh no, this is not the right match. Is this a 3-2 for Roma? Because that's not how this is not the right match. Whatever. No, it's not May. It should be November. I was out there in November. Okay, let's see if this comes up real quick. Oh, maybe it was 2-1? Yeah, I'm guessing it was 2-1. Maybe that's why I had that incorrect. Hopefully AC Milan versus Roma. Let's see what the Match Center has to say about this. Keep throwing in comments, guys, as well as I'm scrolling through this stuff. Match Center, or maybe Match Report would have been better. Let's see what that starting lineup was. This is so cool. You could go back and look at this. So Menez scored early on. I think he took advantage of a mistake. Ronaldinho scores a penalty, and then Pato scores another one. I believe that was a pretty nice goal. Wow, look at that starting lineup. I'm reminiscing. I was 19, so that's How many years ago? 14 years ago? It's really cool. Long story short, I'm gonna post the story I have to this game. Ultras Milan, and if you're interested, take a look at this. Yeah, my first Italian away game. I wrote about this, and I didn't mean to discuss this. I'm not like promoting my own stuff. I'm gonna throw this in the comments as well. But this was I ended up sleeping in Milano Centrale, the train station, overnight. It was really cold. People kept bothering me for cigarettes, and I was like, I don't smoke, non fumo. And at the end of the day, I should say the next morning, I wake up. I guess I don't know if I really slept, but I like woke up next to gypsies at one point, and I go downstairs and imagine like there's no bathrooms around, so you know what people had to do, and it's like 5 a.m. First train back to Florence, really back to Rome, but it's the regional. And there's like three canines, German shepherds out there, and police, a full squad with riot gear, and then a bunch of other dudes like my age and I would say mid 20s too. And I go up to the police, and I think the ultras that I was traveling with were like, what the hell is this kid doing? And you know what I pull out? My American passport, which is like worth gold out in Italy, in Europe in general. And they let me pass, and I walk past the dogs. I get on the train, and I don't think I went to, maybe I did go to school. I had like a 12 o'clock class. I went the next day, and you can get away with that stuff when you're 19, 33. I don't know if I can really pull that stuff off anymore. But look at this team, man. What Rossi is that? Oh, of course, De Rossi. I was thinking like Alejandro Rossi for a second. Pizarro, probably Roma's most influential midfielder of the 2000 era. Oh, Felipe Mexes, Bordiso, John Onnerise, Marco Cassetti, Simone Perotta, Tade. What a team, man. This team should have won more. Vucinic, Menez. They that's a squad there, my friends. That's a very well put together team. Doni before he fell off completely. Roma's history of Brazilian keepers. Speaking of on the other side, look at that. Nelson Dida, Nesta, Silva, Thiago Silva, Zambrotta, Massimo Aldo, Abate. Abate had a decent career, didn't he? Andrea Pirlo, guys. Look Seedorf, Ambrosini, Dino, Pato. No wonder they won. They were in second in the league if they didn't win that Scudetto at all. That's so cool. Mourinho is bluffing on Dybala. Would like to see Volpato this weekend. I would love that too. I'd love to see Volpato get some time. I have a feeling that he's not working hard enough because Mourinho either loves or pushes these youngsters. I want to say this aside, but they don't get time if they don't earn it. That seems to be the theme coming out of Trigoria. Wayne, do you have a Roma match that lives with you forever? I think, yeah, it's the King of Rome is not dead when Richard Whittle, who we'll have back on the channel soon, I believe, um, he commented, the King of Rome is not dead when Totti got not one, but two goals within like 10 minutes of each other. And I remember he was in his late 30s and how acrobatic that Totti was to score those goals. I was eating a bowl of spaghetti and meatballs. I had just gotten home from work. My mom recorded it on the DVR, and my back was to the TV. And I remember getting up twice, turning around. I was like, oh my God, Totti scored. And then I go back down to have more of the pasta. And I hear it again. I hear, the King of Rome is not dead by Richard Whittle in his North Irish accent. And I'm like, yo, no way. That match will live with me forever, as well as my first Roma match in Rome, which Roma lost to against Palermo in 2005. I was also with my mom. And then the next match I went to the Stadio Olimpico. I've been to two in my life, which was a derby where Dzeko scored. I walked in as Dzeko scored a penalty kick. Blue, no what? What's blue, Leo? What do you do? Oh, like, yeah, that team is so impressive. But guys, let me know what's going on. How's your day going? Otherwise, we're gonna wrap this up soon. Remember to subscribe if anyone's joining in recently. We're working on making this channel, keep getting better and better. I'm learning how to get a subscription notification. So when somebody subscribes, it'll come up like a little pop-up. As well, I'm working on these infographics. My idea, I was mentioning soon, is to get like a full little match setup like on on your side here, which would show like the starting formation and the score line as well. I'm thinking that for the big matches, I like to get out to the city, but for maybe the other ones, we could do a little live play by play. So let me know what you think about that and if you're into it. I'm not sure, Joe, but we can definitely ask Richard. I'm thinking within the next month or so, he's going to be on the channel. I spoke to him somewhat recently. I don't know why he kind of has stopped doing world feed. So what that is if you're American, we have CBS, but when you hear commentators that are not Mateo and Dre Cordero, that comes from something called World Feed, which gets distributed to everybody. And Richard used to be one of the guys on World Feed. I'm not sure why he isn't anymore. That's something I would like to ask him too. But I really do miss him. I think most of us do. So, oh, by the way, let's check out the kits. The new, apparently leaked. I can't say yes or no. I don't have info. They put Roma in below Lazio. Yeah. I can't say if this is real or not, legitimate. I don't know. I only see what I see on like footy headlines and stuff like that. I'm not tied. I'm not like paid by the club. I'm not a freelancer for them this season or anything like that. Compared to the past, unfortunately, I wish I was doing a little bit more with them officially this year. But check this baby out. Look at that Roma Wolf. Daya Roma Daya. Awesome. I love the detail. I'm going to see if I maximize this. It makes a difference for your screen. I mean, the Lupetto. It's really, really cool stuff. I got some comments here on the right too. Could be ruined if they sign a sponsorship deal. Yeah, I imagine Toyota's going to go across that bad boy. And I think it's very well received by the fans too. I love black kits, so I'm waiting for that black kit to come out. KITS. So I'm waiting for that to be released officially because I'm a sucker for that one. I wish I had gotten the one this year with Dybala with the pink swirls. I thought that was really different. Let's look. I was reporting some other stuff too. Let's take a look at it. So we got that little infographic. Once again, let me know what you think of that. And Mourinho's interview, which we went over. And 1 year ago today, yes, that Roma lifted the Conference League title. And, Zaniolo, the goal scorer off of that Mancini long ball, lives so much in my head. And by the way, where does this history of the Lupetto come from? I think it's worth taking a look here in that he's since passed away, but Piero Graton invented this, first designed this, I think in the 80s or late 70s. I'm pretty sure it's the early 80s or even the late 80s. And take a look at the evolution of it and how Roma has used it. So if you don't have a keychain of this or something, go and get one because I think it's the best logo in sports. So that's kind of a leading question there, no? So it's good to see. Yeah, 25,000 people viewed that tweet. Nice. People got to know. Let them know. Ring the doorbells. Have you seen the Lupetto? Have you seen how cool this is? All right. Anything else before we sign off, guys? Any other comments coming in? I feel like I can't say if that kit is official or not. So there's nothing official from the club until it literally comes from the club in like a statement. I can't say anything. But the material, just that looks close to being said and done. If not, I think it's going to be something very similar to that. And we've seen that brighter red colorway and yellow being used a lot more. There is a name for that red. I think it's called Pompeian red. I have it in my thesis. I think it's Pompeian red and something gold, but there's a specific name for it. Do I watch the NBA? Every now and then, like my friends are Knicks fans. I know that the Denver Nuggets are looking legit. Denver just won. Well, the Colorado Rapids, Denver's in Colorado. They won NHL last year, so they're going through a pretty good phase with their sports teams. But I do love the branding. Speaking of sports logos, I love the Nuggets branding. I think it's really unique. And why is it the Nuggets? If anyone doesn't know, it's because of I believe there was gold found back there back in the day. Like if you like skiing and snowboarding, I ski all the time in the winter. There is a town. There's a few towns actually, not Telluride. I forget the name of it, but it is a few of those old mining towns are now ski mountains, which is pretty cool. So Yeah, maybe the Denver Nuggets take it. I'm glad to see LeBron out. I'm more of a Michael Jordan fan. I was actually looking at the Scottie Pippen Nike sneakers, which looked pretty cool to me. So, yeah, that third jersey is amazing at McDonald's. And I can't wait to get my hands on that. By the way, if you ever look on eBay too, guys, you could find some really cool stuff. I got a Cassano jersey. Cassano's name has since lost a lot of stock with Roma fans, but every now and then there's some cool stuff out there. My favorite kit ever, I think, is the three-quarter, the black three-quarter strip by Diodora. I think that's from or 0405, if I'm not mistaken, the third kit in black and white. I have the white version, but I'm waiting to get the black. Anything else? I don't think so. Like I said, if you're watching this on recorded, leave a like. Let me know what you think. Let me know how your day's going. Hopefully, T-minus 6 days until this match. And I hope to see you at Roma Club New York. If not, stay posted on YouTube, on Twitter for updates. Tomorrow as well, we'll be doing a little tactical analysis of Sevilla, taking a look at their last 3 games and how their manager really likes to play. So, okay, one question here at the end. Telemans or Fratesi? Fratesi. I say that because, one, he's a youth guy, but take the emotional aspect out of it. And I think Fratesi is becoming the complete center midfielder. I love his skill set, can work out of the back, does breaking runs, can split 2-3 players, take them on the dribble, runs into goal, into the final third, has a good shot on him, has a good head on him, is really, I think, a positive force, has big game character. Tielemans would be a really good pickup too, especially economically viable, is a bit more, what's the word, practical, I think, of a spending option, because Fratesi, I'm telling you, is going to cost like 35, 40 million euros at this point. The way that I could see that deal work would be something like Tahirovic plus 20 million or something like that. Tahirovic plus Misori, perhaps. But yeah, Fratesi is my guy. And with Aouar will be the guy who definitely tends to be a bit more offensive, playing the simple ball, getting it on the half turn, and looking to advance it into the attacking midfielder. Whereas Fratesi is more of a number 8, and he's got such an engine on him. Totti, bro. Of course, Francesco Totti. Although I respect Baggio. I feel like Baggio is underrated when it comes to the discussion of who is the best in the world as Totti. But I do think that Baggio should be considered one of those guys. And I wrote an article recently, too, on Urban Pitch about his armband and Totti's actually Urban Pitch armband. I'm going to link this in the comment as well. You got to check out the armband that Baggio wore. And let me know what you think of this article, too. I'm posting that right now. It's from Urban Pitch, who I sometimes write for. But yeah, Totti all day, because you can't define Totti. He wasn't just a number 10. He was also a number 9 when he needed to be. He was a left winger earlier in his career. So there's so many different shades of Francesco Totti. And for me, he's the best passer. He's the best brain that has ever lived in world football, because those passes and the way that he is able to read almost blindfolded the pitch, no player has ever done, and nobody can replicate. So for me, that's why I always consider Francesco Totti to be my favorite best of the best player. Is there a best player ever? You know, context is always different. Maradona played in a different time. Maradona was also blowing coke at halftime. And that's for real. I'm not trying to be a wise guy here. Messi has played in one system. Maybe it's Messi, right? Well, you know, you can't use that argument anymore. But Messi's always been protected. Totti wasn't on those types of teams. Zidane is in that upper echelon. Ronaldinho, when he was in peak form. Ronaldo, the number 9, R9, right? These are guys who have to be considered in the highest of echelons. Totti was so intelligent. One-touch play, best goals. Maldini, there you go, is another best player of all time. Sometimes we always just think, attacking midfielders, strikers, and number 10s. The Italian goal is Totti for me. I know others will go Baggio. To me, the argument I don't like is when people say Del Piero. I'm like, bro, you're talking about the best Italian player ever, and you give me Del Piero? Del Piero is a phenomenal number 10. Phenomenal. But it stops there. He didn't change the way that the game was played. He didn't invent his own way of playing the way that Totti did. And even Baggio, he didn't own the pitch the way that Maldini did. And I'm not trying to take away from Del Piero. I'm not a hater. I love ADP. He's someone I would really like to meet. But for me, it's different. I don't consider him in the highest of echelons. That's where Maradona, Messi, Totti, Zidane, it's reserved for those guys. And I don't think that Del Piero is in that category. All right, guys, let me know what you think about that. Like I said, tomorrow we'll be on doing the tactical analysis of Sevilla. If you want the group link to the WhatsApp group link, let me know in a comment. I'll throw that in there. And you know what to do. Send it to your Romanisti and let me know where you'll be watching the game, okay? We'll talk soon. Ciao.